What's up, guys? Gun here. I hope this video finds you well. It has been a crazy world since the last time that I was live on YouTube or Twitch in a DFS capacity. Obviously, the COVID pandemic has or pulled the rug out from underneath us right in the middle of basketball season. And it was just, we never bounced back. Well, the bounce back is coming, as it looks like we're gonna get an opportunity for Major League Baseball and NBA basketball within a couple weeks. So, I wanted to put this video up because I have had several feelers on Twitter. You guys tweeting at me and messaging me, asking, if I'm gonna be back in action. Short answer to that is yes. Another question we get I've gotten is the RunDFS.com website going to be back up? And that's a question I don't know yet. I definitely am going to get back into content, daily content for both basketball and baseball, and that's going to be a grind. And I'm going to explain that grind here in just a minute. But I don't know if I want to do it in a capacity through a website or through social media platforms or even just here on YouTube. YouTube's actually offered me an opportunity to have subscriptions right here through YouTube. So I have a couple of options out there. I'm still kind of weighing, but for the time being, subscriptions are going to be handled by hand through me on Twitter. So to kind of advertise that first and then kind of talk about NBA coming up and baseball coming up, I wanted to price it at a reasonable point. And then, with respect to, I know a lot of people have kind of had an impact financially through these times as well, myself included. So usually during peak periods, we had charged $100 a month. What was it, 25 a week, something like that. It was $100 a month for the bulk deal. I'm gonna try and start out at $80 a month. Now remember, it's gonna be every day full slates of baseball, basketball, and then knock on wood, within a month we'll have some football. So it's going to be probably more work at the same time than I've ever done. But I think that's something that is worth it now, right? To kind of help everybody out. So it's going to start out at $80 a month. And then, of course, I like to do a bulk package to reward people. So if you guys wanted to sign up until January 1st, it would run $300. And I think that's about, five months and some change. So it adds up as $100 savings. So if you're just here for that, those are your price points. If that's something you're interested in, I'm going to be handling all that through my DMs on Twitter, twitter.com/ScundeckerSports, and handling that through PayPal for the time being. Now let's talk about the sports. I guess we'll start with NBA since NBA is kind of the most popular one. But I do want to point out NBA is going to be back like a week and a half after baseball's back. But for those of you guys that weren't completely aware of how NBA is going to look when it does come back, it's going to be daily, all-day slates. And it kind of reminds me of like the Christmas slates and stuff like the Martin Luther King slates, stuff like that, where those were fun grinds, right? It was an all-day thing. But the propensity for late swaps and late scratches and guys paying closer attention to stuff like that, it's going to be even grindier. So just be prepared for that. But I am going to be full supporting that, and I think what I'll probably end up doing for that is probably try to release a night before stream. And I'm 100% open to your guys' suggestions. Potentially, I could even do a morning of stream, and I'm not anti that either. Maybe I'll kind of feel you guys and see what you think. I think morning of or before locks is not something that I need to do publicly. I think there's going to be great content out there from sites like Osimo that will have those pre-lock and during the day stream. So I think if I kind of stuck with the night before format for NBA, and then that would maybe open me up on the afternoon for maybe a live baseball stream. Maybe that's something that we can float around with. But kind of look for that. Now for basketball, VIP content wise, I'm still going to have the daily spreadsheets, my favorite plays at each position, and of course the spreadsheets are data, sortable data, color coded data that you guys can navigate every day and come up with some plays. And then of course we're going to have the Discord. And I think the Discord is probably something I'm underselling here, but it is something that became a massive, massive part of the daily process for me, and would be more than happy for you guys to jump in here and be part of the Discord fam. A lot of really sharp cats in here, and during this COVID downtime, these cats have been grinding and crushing NASCAR, MMA, and even the overseas sports, the esports, stuff like that. And I've kind of dabbled in some of those sports as well, but I just felt like it would be extremely irresponsible for me to pretend to know those sports in a capacity to recommend plays and stuff like that. I didn't feel like it was worth farming impressions for that, right? But anyway, we'll have daily voice chats for NBA. Typically what we had done for NBA during the regular season was 2-hour pre-lock voice chats. I don't know if the 2-hour capacity is still going to be a thing here because of how the slates are staggered throughout the day. But I would absolutely still be around all day to interact with anyone who had questions or ideas and see what kind of slates the day gives us. I'm imagining just looking at the first slate on FanDuel, they gave us an all-day slate. I think it was a Millie Maker. Then they gave us a 2-game late slate. So it seems like we might get a lot of 2-game late slates or stuff like that. So we will have the normal content for that. And like I said, just maybe look out for the night before streams, and maybe those streams could kind of cap off the last game or something like that. Because it does look like the since it's in the bubble, there's no West Coast games, right? All these games are in Orlando, so I could really get on the air probably around 9 p.m., 9:30 p.m., and that's not the worst hour, right? And, get cracking for the next day. So I really think that might be the format for the NBA content and the open discussions and whatnot. So look forward to that. Now, as far as baseball is concerned, baseball is scheduled to be back on the 20th, which is 7 days. Not the 20th, the 23rd, which is 10 days. And then, of course, we'll have full slates every day. And I actually saw that FanDuel is having a millie maker, essentially $1 million to first place. I've never ever seen this for baseball at a $3 buy-in. The catch is it's over 1 million entries, and it's a shot in the dark lightning strike tournament. But it is encouraging to see that potentially, at least starting off, we're going to have big prize pools to maybe lure us back in. I mean, NBA was, both sites were offering $100K to first every night at some medium stake buy-in. We're getting $1 million to first opportunity here. So it's one of those contests that normally I wouldn't play because of how many entries are in it. But just a $3 buy-in, there's probably no reason for me to not at least do 20 to 50 and try to, break even, or maybe, get catch lightning in a bottle. But these slates are going to be much more normal in terms of what we're used to in terms of time frames for baseball. Baseball has set up their schedule where it's not every team in the same city. All teams are going to be playing at their home stadiums, and they chopped it into a 60-game season, and it's a much more geographically based season, right? You're going to be playing against your division, and then playing against the other league division in your area. So, for instance, the Yankees will have to play all the AL East teams, and then they would play the NL East teams, which would be the Mets, the Phillies, the Nationals, and the Marlins. And then a team like the Dodgers, they'll have to play all the NL West teams and then play all the AL West teams. So it's not going to be as you're not going to get a bunch of Anaheim Angels to Toronto or something like that. But the flip side is we do get actual ballparks that we can still kind of honor our ballpark factors, and it still feels a little bit more closer to what we're used to, and it's going to allow for normal slate time. So you see when baseball cranks back up, there's going to be some day games. It's the summer. It's going to be like that. But there's going to be a lot of 6:30 or 7 p.m. games, and we'll have full slates at 7 p.m. lock every day. So that's at least refreshing in a sense to me, because content-wise, it's an absolute hassle nightmare to try and juggle two sports at once, especially when I'm trying to help subscribers for advice on each sport. Baseball is not really as pre-lock intensive in terms of decision making and following news, because we often know the pitchers and the starting lineups and whatnot. It's more so the weather and whatnot. Basketball is really the grindy one pre-lock, with people being scratched and rest and stuff like that. So there's a lot of nuances that these two seasons are going to bring us. As a Yankee fan, I've already seen DJ LeMahieu, Aroldis Chapman being put on the sidelines for COVID-19 diagnosis. So that's a wild card we're gonna have to play with, and within season, I just wonder, what if an active player pops positive? Do they just shut everything down? There's so many questions. So it's going to be a weird season, but it's the world we live in. So we're gonna try and grind it and see what we can do. And I'm gonna try and make it as normal and easy to process as I do my best to do. So I'm hoping that you guys will join me back as things fire back up. And like I said, look for maybe the night before streams for NBA here, and then maybe some daily afternoon live streams here as well on YouTube, on Twitch. And then if you want to go ahead and get set up, you don't have to wait till the day of. If you wanted to just get your first month pass, I'd lock you in until the first month after the opening day and stuff like that, and we'll work with you. I know there's a lot of people in the Discord that were mid passes before COVID shut down. So if you want to get that set up, DM me. My DMs are open, and if you guys want to lock in until at least January 1st, DM me for that. Like I said, hopefully in hopefully in September, we'll be juggling 3 sports at once. That'll be a crazy time: football, basketball, and baseball, and then of course other sports like hockey and whatnot, and NASCAR will be floating around. But we might have all the sports at once, all the sports. So it'll be exhausting, and I'm going to do my best to help as much as I possibly can. And I really love being a fantasy ambassador for baseball, and maybe this abbreviated season will help you guys kind of love it faster, and maybe we'll start seeing some changes. We're already seeing a push for changes that I expected in the next couple of years anyway. The National League this season will be playing with a designated hitter, and then of course bullpen pitchers will have to see 3 batters or be the last out of half inning. So a lot of fun little nuances that I can't wait to break down and talk about. But this video was just more or less confirming to you guys that I am going to be back with content, both free and premium. And if you wanted to get signed up for the premium content, hit me up on Twitter, twitter.com/GundeckerSports. I love you guys, man. I hope you guys have been safe. It's a crazy, crazy time out there. I've had a lot of friends and family impacted by the disease. I have, grandparents in the hospital, and visitation is cut off because of all this. And it's just a crazy time, man. So I really hope you guys are doing well. And we're going to get through it. And I can't wait for sports to come back and, try and make things feel as normal as possible as we try to get this year over with, man. All right. I love you guys. Good luck. God bless. Go win some money.